Hey y'all, welcome to the ANOMALOUS Podcast, where we have conversations around the nuances of living a life with God as our guide. If you're in the process of evolving or transforming and are just looking for some practical help with the process, then you're in the right place. We're all trying to figure it out. I am your host, McGee, and I am so excited that you're joining the conversation today. Today, I want to have a discussion around vision and decisions. And my hope is that I hope to light a fire or even help you to get curious about the ways that getting clear about your vision, right? And more sharpening your decision making, how it can change your life and help you to create the life that you really dream of. Yes, I am a transformational coach, an executive coach. I help believers, athletes, and entrepreneurs create the lives that they want to create and transform their lives in the ways that they want to transform. But then I have this affinity for the conversation because I also remember what it was like not having vision, not being clear, being in survival mode from day to day, just going with the flow, distraction after distraction, being swayed to and fro. I remember what that's like. And so I'm hoping to jumpstart the conversation or reignite the conversation in a way to where you can latch on to something and maybe even start some conversations within yourself. Reach out to have some conversations with me or someone close to you that can help you along your journey to create the things that you want to create. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it. I'm gonna start with some definitions. This is just not assuming that you don't know, but not assuming that we're all on the same page. And so in terms of vision, right, we have your basic definition of vision where it's your ability to see. But today we're gonna be talking about vision in terms of your ability to visualize or plan for the future with using their imagination and wisdom. Most of the time, for those of us that are believers, it's in connection with God, right? Trying to connect to the vision or visions that God has given you at different points in your lifetime or what's to come, things that you haven't even tapped into or visions that He hasn't given you yet, right? So connecting to the vision that God has for us. And then the second definition is decisions, right? And so to decide, it's like after consideration, you've come to a resolution. And a resolution is coming to a firm decision. Taking time to ponder, to consider, and then making a firm decision to do something or not to do something. And the more that we get clear on our vision or we establish a vision, the vision gives us a target. Now we have something to shoot for, right? With vision, it helps us to narrow the playing field. Right? It helps us to get clear about what do we do and what do we not do. Because now we have a target, right? And what's going to help us to get towards the target. And so now we get to sit back and look at our life and reassess, right? We talked about that on the last episode. Now we get to sit back and reassess, right? It helps us to decide what we need to invest money and time in, what we need to invest our emotions in, what things we need to let go, who do we need to connect to, who do we need to connect to less. Right? What makes sense for where we're trying to go? What don't make sense, bro? What just don't make sense no more? Right? So it helps us to decide. It helps us to figure out these things are actually just distractions. These are not helpful to me in any area of my life the way that I thought that they were. Right? Or even establishing like, if this is where I'm going, these are the things that I need to do. These are the things I need to figure out how to do. Right? I need to grow in this area. I've been avoiding this, but I need to do more of this. And I need to start taking this more seriously. And I need to connect to this person or whatever. It really helps us to get clear about what we do and what we don't do. All right. But the important part is that we got to realize that there is so much power in our decisions and there's so much power in the smallest decisions that we make. In the life that we want to create, right? We're just a decision away. Right? And it's a combination of decisions that help us to create the lives that we want to create. I'm going to start with a short story time. I'm going to touch on 3 areas of my life just as an example, and we're going to use this as a visual for the power of having a vision, right, and making a decision. And so the 3 areas of my life will be college, young adulthood, and then sabbatical. And so going into college, I went to Georgetown University. I was a student athlete. I had clear vision about basketball-wise, what type of basketball program I wanted to be a part of. I wanted to go into a program and create my own thing. I wanted us to create our own thing. I didn't want to walk into something that was fully established and everybody already knew it for being the top of the top. I wanted to go in and create a legacy, right? Whoever I came in, I wanted to do a thing. And that's what we did. We did a thing. It was very clear that I had a vision around that, and I was determined to get there, right? We were determined to get there, and all of us came in with that, the whole system, right? We all had a really clear vision on that, and we succeeded in that. But what I didn't have a clear vision around was, okay, even academically or after school or outside of basketball as a college student, what I wanted my life to look like. And so a lot of times it was kind of a mess, you know what I'm saying? And then even after college, I knew I didn't want to play basketball anymore, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew what I didn't want to do, but I didn't have a clear vision about what it was that I wanted to do. And so the few years after that, we're going to transition into young adulthood. The few years after that, I just floated, right? I lived in California for a little bit, and then I went to Houston for a little bit, and I had a little bit of fun. I drank a lot. I was depressed half the time. Just like I applied to some jobs. God shut every single thing down. I couldn't even get a job at McDonald's because he was not playing with me. He said, "Oh, you think you about to just shut me out of this whole gig?" No, ma'am. He shut the whole little operation down. I was not playing, y'all. But anyways, I thought I was going home for just a weekend to see my mom. When life going hard, we want to run to our mama. That's exactly what I did. On that weekend trip, I go to church and everything changes. 5 years later, I look up and I'm completely planted back in Tulsa, the last place I thought I would be, really. But that weekend, I decided to surrender to God. I decided to surrender my life to God, and that I wanted to live a life of obedience. I had experienced those years of trying to do it on my own, and I was done with it. I was like, nah, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, I don't even know what this looks like. I don't know what I'm fully saying yes to, but it's a yes for me. You know what I'm saying? You are the Lord of my life. You can lead me. Do as you want to. As soon as I made that decision, I decided, then everything started to fall in place for me. I went from not being able to get any job to not only getting one job. A couple months later, I got a second job. Somebody gave me a car. I got a nice apartment. Within the span of months, everything, boom, 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 just started lining up. There's no way God couldn't have made it more clear to me. You know what I'm saying? And so even from there, those 5 years in Tulsa, I'm just walking, like God is opening these doors, and I'm just walking into these blessings that he's given me. And so it's just like, you started one school, then I transfer into a even better program, and then midway through that stint at that school, then I go get my master's, and then I get a promotion, and there's all these different things, right? And so I'm living and I'm walking in these blessings that God has given me. But at the same time, there's also this aspect that I'm not clear about my own vision, right? I'm not clear about who it is that I want to be and where it is that I want to go, right? What is this life that I want to create? And I'm not even conscientious of how powerful it is that I need to have a vision to even pray about it, right? So in my prayers, this isn't something that I'm asking God for throughout these years. And so it's just like I'm going through the motions of being led by God. I'm getting better at this whole faith thing. I'm getting better at this whole obedience thing. I'm connecting with the Holy Spirit. I'm getting stronger in that aspect, but I don't have a clear vision, right? And so for me, a lot of times it's complete dependence on God, which is great. But then there's also this survival mode mentality. It's like a day-to-day like type of thing, just going with it. And so it's like even in the midst of that, I go and get my master's in counseling, right? I'm thinking I'm getting clear about my vision. Halfway through that, then I decide like, I don't want to be a therapist at this point in my life. I finished out getting my master's, but right when I thought I was getting more clear about my vision, then that was snatched. And then here I am back to, I'm in this space. I've got the things, I'm doing the things, but I know that there's a disconnect. Which leads me to my sabbatical, right? Because, and I detail this in my blog, what led me to the sabbatical or my crazy faith journey was having all the things like laid out for me, but within me feeling that strong disconnect, knowing this ain't it. Like I was having the best of the best with a lot of things, but this wasn't it. And I knew that there was something inside of me. There were so many things inside of me that needed to be released, but the life that I was living, the decisions that I was making, the career path that I was in, it just wasn't it. And I loved serving the people that I served and working with, and they were amazing to me. Shout out to them, but just something was missing. But I did not have a vision around where I was going. And so you could tell in my free time, right? The fact that I didn't have a vision, it was like whatever. You know what I'm saying? We was doing whatever. You know, and I had a great time, and I met a lot of amazing people, and we have a lot of great memories. Not saying it like I regret it, but it's just clear in retrospect, looking at the fact that I didn't have a vision, because it was just like anything goes. And so fast forward into my sabbatical, all those distractions are gone, right? It's me and God in a house in the middle of nowhere, South Carolina. And he's stripping me down, and we're working on the things, and he's resurfacing all this stuff, and he's making me work on myself, and he's making me look at myself in the mirror. And there isn't all these distractions, right? There aren't all these people and all these things that are just like keeping me entertained and occupied. And so it's me and God and the reality of all this stuff, and we're working. And without all those distractions, then I'm getting to know myself better, right? I'm really like looking at Tia. I'm really like addressing all this stuff that I just like, I'll deal with that later, that I never got back to, right? I'm really looking at the decision making. I'm really like looking at my feelings. I'm looking at who I am. I'm, realizing like we've really been navigating with no vision, right? And in the midst of all this and getting to know myself better, and in the midst of this solitude, and in the midst of this silence and this time with God, right? The more I get to know him, the more I get to know me. And of course, same in reverse. And then the more clear, right? Now I'm silent. I'm not distracted, and God is able to speak to me, and I'm able to grasp. I'm sensitive. I'm sensitive to the touch. I'm sensitive to his voice. I'm sensitive to his nudges. I'm sensitive to everything. And so the visions, he's giving me these really clear visions, right? About who I am and who he's called me to be. And I mentioned this in the last episode. And so it's like, as I'm getting these visions, I'm like, oh, this who he's called. Oh, okay. There's a lot of stuff I got going on right now that still can't go. That can't go. Even through all the stripping down and the ways that I was changing, there was still tons of things like, or major things that just couldn't go. And so it's like the vision gave me a target, right? It's like, if this where we going, drinking, you can't go. The way we was going about it, it's like, can't go. So I formed a plan. I made a decision first, right? Then I formed a plan, ran the play, and then we stopped drinking. Okay. And that's just one example, but there was many other things where it was like, okay, this part of you, it can't go. And some of those things I'm still working on, right? I'm still actively praying about and still working to like overcome. But the vision helped me to get really clear. And then even in that stillness and on that sabbatical is when God gave me, the word about being a coach. He sent the word through my sister, and even just within that, making the decision to bet on myself, to really submit once again my life to God, to really trust the process, to really submit to the process, to really be where God needed me to be and do what he needed me to do in the midst of that. Then he helped to send a word and help me to be open to really receive it at a time where it was like, and help me to connect to this thing, this thing that was more fitting than anything I've ever experienced, or I've ever like really connected to in my life. And that was a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago when he dropped that. But in the midst of that time, it's when I got vision. And so even seeing now with the wrap of a sabbatical and like, now fully stepping into, transformational coaching and those type of things, it's just all of it is just such a great example. And I reflect on it myself of how powerful vision can be and how it helps us to decide, and how dangerous a lack of vision or not taking the time to even seek vision, how dangerous that can be, right? For if we want to steward our time right, if we want to steward our life right, or, those type of things, or I try to be careful of not using the word right, but it can be dangerous to not have a vision. Okay. And so even within that, paired with that, like we've been talking about, vision and decisions. And so when it comes to decisions, again, there's so many times when we can make small of our decisions, as if a small decision can't change our life. I just want to encourage everybody, like, even throughout that story, right, whenever I decided, right, when I really decided and made the decision, right, it started to change everything. And there was a bunch of micro decisions after that. But whenever I decided and I paired that with vision, there was something powerful that happened. Whenever I decided to submit my life to Christ, and I kept making decisions to figure out, like, I don't know how to quite submit to him fully, but I'm going to just keep making these small decisions and figuring out how to do it. Right? When I made the decision to go to Georgetown, this is what I want to do, there's a bunch of micro decisions that I had to make. Right? When I made the decision, like, I'm going to completely surrender again, I'm going to go on this crazy faith journey. I don't know what this looks like. I have no idea. These people think I'm crazy. But I'm going to fully submit to this process. I made the decision and kept making micro decisions after that, and it changed my life. And so my encouragement is to not make small of how powerful decisions can be. Okay. And there's a good chance that you are one decision away from your life changing, from creating the life that you want to create. You're one decision away, because that decision will lead you to another decision, which will lead you to another decision, which will lead you to another decision, So don't make small of those decisions. And then also keep in your mind, like, there is a chance that the clarity that you want to receive, that you want to have right now about who you are or where you're going, is on the other side of a decision. So there's some of us where the lack of decision making is actually the issue, that we're standing still. And there have been times in my life, I was the person, listen, I had experienced a life of not connecting with God and not doing what he wanted me to do. I didn't want to experience that again. So I had gotten to the place where I will just wait. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not going to make the wrong step. I'm just going to sit here and wait for God to tell me exactly what to do, because we're not getting this wrong, bro. He not about to be mad at me. He not about to have me out here by myself because that was miserable. No, And so there's some of us that are just standing still, not taking a step, not making a move. But our decisions are how we partner with God. So yeah, you need to pray. You need to connect to the Holy Spirit. You need to be sensitive to it. You need to make sure that whether it's big or small decisions, that you are collaborating with God about it. But you got to decide, baby. He wants you to decide. That is how we partner with God. That is how we create the things on earth, right? God creates these beautiful things on earth through our partnership. So you got to decide, And so anyways, I hope that this was encouraging. I hope that this was helpful in some sort of way, because again, our decisions are powerful, and I want you to decide who you want to be, regardless of who you've been, right? If you've ever questioned it, I want to reassure you right now that you have the ability to be somebody different. You have the ability to create a new life, but you got to decide. You got to get clear about that vision, who it is that you want to be, what it is that you want to do, right? And then every day after, make the decisions in the direction of that. And if you fall off, then get back on and make some more decisions that help you to lead you to where you want to go. But you got to decide, and you got to get clear on your vision. Okay? And so for those of us who may be struggling with getting clear about vision, who maybe don't have the greatest relationship with vision, maybe are afraid to even tap into dreaming, right? Tap into looking past today or past tomorrow, then I want to encourage you too, right? There's three main things that could be really helpful for you, right? One is, I'm always going to encourage you to pray. Ask God about it. If you have a lack of vision, if you need some clarity, if you're just I just need help, pray. Ask God about it. If you're unsure about who you are or where you're going, ask God, who am I? Where are we going? What's inside of me that I don't know is inside of me? What do you have planned for me that I'm not even connected to now? Right? What decisions do I need to make? What do I need to change? What do I need to put down? What do I need to pick up? Ask God about it. He created you. He is your creator. And nobody's going to know better than God about who you are, or what you were created to do, or what's the next steps that need to be taken, or what's off in the distance 5 to 10 years from now. Nobody knows that the way God does. And there are times, when he sends that through other people, right? But you want to connect with God first. Pray. Ask him about it. Just like this. The way ask him just like that. Okay? Secondly, find somebody close to you, right, that you trust that has a good relationship with vision, and connect with them. Okay? So sometimes we can overlook, right, the power of collaboration. And it's really vulnerable, right, to go to somebody at our adult age and be like, hey, I need help. I need you to pray for me. I need you to... I really want to get clear around my vision, but I need help, right? And so that can be vulnerable, but it could be helpful. It could change your life. So if you have somebody that comes to mind, maybe even think about it, pray about it, ask God, is there somebody I can connect with that can help me with this? And then thirdly, I'm going to advise you to grab you a coach, okay? Whether it's me or some other coach that you follow on social media and you really connect with their content and you've been thinking about it, but just haven't quite pulled the plug or have been questioning the investment or whatever, I'm going to encourage you to connect with a coach. At bare minimum, schedule a discovery call. Get a little bit more information, right? Do a little bit more research, look into it some more, and really just take a step. right? Because the investment that you make, the investment in time, the investment in finances, the investment, just overall could be the thing that helps you to really change your life. Partnering with someone who is trained in helping you to get clear on your vision, right? Clear on your vision, help you to strategize and really take the steps in that direction to help you to achieve the results that you want to achieve and create the life that you want to create. It could be very worth it. So don't be afraid, okay? Don't be afraid. It could change your life. All right. And for those of y'all who are genuinely interested in, potentially working with me, I would love to. There will be a link in the description where you can fill out an inquiry form and we'll connect. We'll do a vision call. We can discuss how we could potentially partner with each other and get you going in the direction of where you want to go and becoming who you want to become. Okay? So make sure y'all hit me up because I would love to help. But anyways, thank y'all for joining my conversation today around vision and decisions. I hope this was helpful. I said that before, but I'm going to say it again. I hope that this was helpful. And if it was, if you find this valuable or any of my other conversations valuable, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, you share this with somebody that you believe that it could be helpful for. Okay, and give me any feedback, right? Any feedback. You can connect with me. I mean, all the things. Engage. Let's talk. I would love to hear any of your thoughts. I would love to hear which points resonated with you today, right? And again, if you're needing any additional help with getting clear on your vision, then make sure you reach out to me, reach out to a friend, reach out to God, and we got your back, okay? All right, y'all. Until next time, bye.